Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, from around the nation, from around Washington, D.C., we are live from the nation's capital. We are not ashamed of the good news of conservatism, for it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the socialist. Yours truly at the helm, the exceptional one, Kevin Clinton, bringing you the most influential urban conservative talk show in the world. Yes, indeed. Mrs. Biggs is watching us via Ustream and live stream, and I'm so glad that you're joining us tonight as people are crowding into the chat room at the broadcast central of the exceptionalconservativeshow.com. This is SHR Media Night, Sackheads Radio Night, and we broke a news story earlier regarding Sackheads. We did it earlier this week. Mark, the bloviating Zeppelin, will be sitting in for Sean Lewis this evening, Sackhead Sean. Sackhead Clint will be joining him. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned until 11 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 8 p.m. Pacific for Sackhead Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, much ado about nothing going on 495 and in New York and LA, Chicago. They want to let you know that the wheels are falling off the Trump train. That his comments regarding a military member who gave away a Purple Heart, his comments regarding a baby, his comments regarding a Muslim Brotherhood agent are enough for you, the American people, to be so unwise as to vote for Hillary Rodham Clinton. They want you to believe this. This is what this is including Fox News, Fox, MSNBC, CNN, all the cable, all that. They want you to think that this is enough to deride a train, and it's August. First and foremost, most people are not thinking about the presidential election until Labor Day. But they want you to know that those three faux pas are enough for him to drop out, and that those three faux pas alone are enough to equate his fitness for the presidency. Well, we're going to be talking about that tonight. This is a big, big night on the Exceptional Conservative Show. We're going to be talking about that and so much more. Tonight I'm wondering why the central bank secrets are more sacred than the life of an American ambassador. Remember DNC hit email scandal? Hillary Clinton hit email scandal? Well, the central bank, the Federal Reserve, actually was sued not only by the state of New York, but also by the Department of Justice for an individual revealing central bank secrets regarding an institution that was about to do a business deal to a former employee, but who was working with Goldman Sachs. Now that in itself was enough to ban this person from ever working in the financial services industry with 2 years probation, and someone else got a year's worth of probation for revealing the secrets from the Federal Reserve. That was enough, along with being fired, of course. So we're going to talk about that. Why? Thank you, Mary. Mary's in the chat room. Mary's my bouncer. If you diss her, you diss me, you will be dismissed from the program. Thank you. She tells me I have a nice new shirt. Yes, I do. Got some beach attire because I got tired of wearing all that in this hot studio, all of this heavy stuff. So I feel a whole lot better. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we do at this particular moment of the show. as we get ready for releasing the Kraken tonight. Shannon Wright taking center stage. Lonnie Poindexter joining us. There's a litany of stuff that we're going to talk about today. But we always pledge allegiance to the United States of America. Would you join us, please? Let the kids take it away. Put your right hand over your heart and let us now pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
Parents, ready, begin. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Way to get it off. Listen, tonight, Lonnie Poindexter will be joining us at about 9:40. We'll be talking about Obama commuting the sentences of a record 214 prisoners today. And look at the political rewards for Democrats and implications in state justice and victims' rights. We're also going to take a look at the Supreme Court and the states turning their backs on religious liberty. So that will be at 9:40. At 10:05, right about there, we will be releasing the Kraken. Yes, DC GOP Vice Chairman Ralph Chittum joins us to discuss the Supreme Court decision on whether little boys can use little girls' bathrooms. We'll also be looking at Obama ransom dollars. Are Americans kidnapped by terrorists worth $100 million? And can man serve two masters? Councilmember Vincent Orange in DC Chamber of Commerce. Can you actually hold both titles while in office? Shannon will be joining us right around the 10:40 mark, and we'll be talking with her about the DC Transit Officer incident here in Washington, and terrorism in urban hubs, and also we'll be looking at Baltimore Youth Works. Whether it is the role of government to involve itself in summer youth program. I know it makes them look good. It makes them look like they created jobs, but really they didn't. They really didn't. There's so many more things. Mamba, great to have you here. Let's see. Love you, Mary. Put that in there. Mamba, great. Listen, we got to go to a quick break. When we come back, is the life of an ambassador less in worth than a Goldman Sachs employee who steals from the Federal Reserve? By the standards of this administration, yes.
Hey, it's Jersey Joe, Puerto Rico, Common Sense. You can catch me every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on SHRmedia.com. That's every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Greg Wilner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Thunder Press, Live, Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always present.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business. You didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine's stupid.
Sackhead Clint.
all good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Soccer as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
From day's first light to night's last glimmer, your satisfaction is our responsibility. On the range or in the field of duty, you can rely on Brownell's lifetime guaranteed gun parts, tools, and supplies. Anytime, any place. It's how we've done business since 1939. Brownell's.
From coast to coast, there is one bank focused on building a better future. One bank with programs you can trust to help boost your economic future. One United Bank, with rates better than the national average, no hidden fees, and even cashback debit cards. You'll feel the boost in your budget. One United Bank, the premier bank for urban communities in Boston, Miami, and Los Angeles. Visit us at oneunited.com or call 877-1UNITED today. Member FDIC.
Get churched up, folks! Welcome back. This is the first quarter of the Exceptional Conservative Show on Wednesday night. It is a Super Bowl Wednesday night. Of course, you got the Kraken, you got Lonnie Poindexter, Shannon Wright taking center stage, and then of course yours truly, the Exceptional One. I love me some of that song right there. District 4. Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much going on in the world today. And I want to play for you. I know, see, the thing is, a lot of people might think to themselves, Ken, you have probably one of the most intellectually stimulating audiences in America, period. In the world, in fact. They listen from Russia, from the Ukraine, India, China, Taiwan. They're listening from Europe. They're listening from South America and Africa. They're listening to your program, Ken. And you're not recruiting the wildebeest of thinkers. You are getting some critical thinkers and influencing policies around the world. Why do you have to go so far back for people to understand stuff? Not in your, and no, you're right, not in my grouping. Not in this grouping of people that come in on a nightly basis, including the down low listeners who tune in on a nightly basis because they want to find a flaw. They want to critique. They're looking for a flaw. And I do this show not for my conservative friends, but I do the show for you all. I try to be exactly 100% so that you never have an opportunity to show the flaw. Hillary Clinton and James Comey listened to two different messages from his reporting. Virtually, the taking of this is that because she's Hillary Rodham Clinton and running for President of the United States of America, she is sheltered from the justice system that we are all privy to. And in fact, with almost 90 days to go before the election, which is the Labor Day mark everybody looks at, the Justice Department really is not going to do anything to her until after the election. And if she wins, they're not going to do anything at all. It'll just be, that's Hillary. Kind of like that's Uncle Joe, Joe Biden. That's Hillary. She will rob your purse. Yeah. We put it down there, she robbed your but that's Hillary. Okay. If she loses the election, which is why the media, including Fox, is really perpetrating the fraud of all these fake pseudo flaws and need for interventions. Because I really don't think that the Americans who really want to change the economy really want to fight terrorism, really want law and order and safe streets. I don't think they're really fooled by any of the flaws, okay? He's not a politician. He's a little raw. He's got to be shined up and made into a diamond. I'm talking Donald Trump here. But Hillary, on the other hand, wants you to think that negotiating ransom for American hostages or prisoners in Iran, passing classified information through a server, and working out a deal which said 20% of the U.S. uranium to Russia for their nuclear program, that none of that stuff even matters to you. No. How Trump kisses a baby matters. See, he didn't kiss her right. It was the right cheek he should have kissed her on, not the left cheek. I want to show you two different people who heard two different things from an original conversation.
I did not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the only agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
The hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
I need to play that back for you. I really do. I really need for you all to get what he just said about Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, in the legal world, you might call it gross negligence. Not the FBI during an election year.
Extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.
We cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences. Americans
will find that interesting, and I look forward to having a discussion about that.
It's amazing what we will put up with as long as you're running for the presidency of the United States of America. Now, I want you all, as I go to say, you all know that on my program, I put in as much, as often as I can, all of the documents that I refer to and use during, the audio is fuzzy, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I put it in the chat room, that way you'll be able to have an opportunity to listen a little bit better. But literally, you're listening to Reason TV, Hillary Rodham Clinton has a completely different picture. It's kind of like the real estate agent that takes you to that house in a very, very priced neighborhood, and the front door is missing, kind of sort of the windows all boarded up, and it looks like it's going to need at least $500,000 worth of work for the $100,000 you pay for it. And they say that this is a bargain. It's amazing how we have two different understandings of exactly what's going on. Let me give you, in this particular case, what I think is just simply beyond a measure of reason. Goldman Sachs was fined after an employee stole secret documents from the Federal Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve is an independent entity that has a responsibility to the government to maintain monetary policy, to monitor economic activity, to synthesize every financial tool or vessel necessary to reduce interest rates or control interest rates and to reduce unemployment. It is an institution which has amazing tentacles in every aspect of every human's life on the face of the planet. Now, when I say that, people will say, that's not possible, Kenneth. No way, that's not possible. So what I did is I used a radical's website to show you what exactly is taking place. It was reporting back in October 29, 2015, that a financial institution, Goldman Sachs is the case, had been fined $50 million after the employees stole secret information from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York in a case that highlights the corruption. I'll say corruption. They didn't say it, but I'll say it. The corruption, the bastardization of the revolving door between the government and Wall Street. Mary, I gotta let you know, Hillary Rodham Clinton has gotten $48 million from Wall Street. Donald Trump, less than $100,000. Donald Trump doesn't put his assets at risk on Wall Street. He does it through real estate. Hillary Rodham Clinton gets paid $1 million per speech by Goldman Sachs. Which one of these do you think is in the pocket of Goldman Sachs? I'm just saying. Or the big banks. Or the Federal Reserve. I'm just saying. And I'm not even pro-Trump. I'm just throwing something out here for you all to think. Now, Rohit Bansal had formerly worked for the New York Federal Reserve. He worked there for 7 years. Then he was hired by Goldman Sachs. Now, the first clue to this is, I think if you've ever worked at the Federal Reserve, there should be at least 2 to 3 years before you're even eligible to work on Wall Street or any financial institution. For collusion purposes. It's I know some people, listen, I believe that you should have free movement, but there are just certain things that just don't make good sense. He says when he was hired by Goldman in 2014, he was told by the Fed's ethics board he could not help advise a client that he had been overseeing while at the Fed. Now, this is the Federal Reserve now. Hillary Clinton was at the State Department. This guy was at the Federal Reserve. When he left, the Federal Reserve said, you cannot talk to, you can't approach them, you can't deal with them because you used to oversee one of Goldman Sachs' clients. Although Goldman Sachs knew about the restriction and hired him anyway, which it hired him for overseeing the group now under Goldman Sachs that he used to see under the Federal. They knew about the restriction. The company assigned him the case anyway. He then schemed to steal confidential regulatory and government documents to help advise the client. Well, I mean, he could have got those documents from EPA, right? Maybe he got them from the Justice Department. He got those documents on behalf of Goldman Sachs from the Federal Reserve. Now, bring you forward a little bit. There were two parties that were taken down in this aspect. Of course, Rohit Bansal, he received the harshest punishment. Okay, he received the very harsh punishment. Dave, Ralph, glad to have you in the chat roll today. The former Goldman Sachs employee is on 2 years probation after he admitted getting a former colleague at the New York Fed to steal the documents for him and give them to him. Now, Basel 30 was a high-flying employee of the New York Fed for 7 years before jumping to Goldman. He wanted the confidential documents to impress his bosses at work. This is what Basel says. During my time at Goldman Sachs, I lost sight of what I knew to be right. So it's Goldman Sachs that screwed up, right? Right? It wasn't you. It was. See, if I hadn't been a part of Goldman Sachs, then I wouldn't have lost myself. I would have been in control. Bull. So this gentleman doesn't serve jail time, but he does get 2 years probation. On top of that, his reputation is ruined. He is banned from working in the banking industry, banned from working in the securities and exchange industry, banned from working in the financial industry. So everything that he ever studied for, worked towards, take it off the table for him. His friend, he gets a year probation, Jason Gross. Okay? And some community service time. Now, many people might be saying, Ken, well, those guys got punished, right? They got punished because they were sharing illegally against the will of the Federal Reserve. They were sharing secrets between each other that benefited Basel. He deserved what he got. To be completely ostracized from the industry that he used to work in. Meaning that he could never go back to any of the realm of financial institutions, foreign or domestic. Ruined. So I ask you this question, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to Hillary Rodham Clinton, exactly what did she lose in this particular deal? She's getting weekly security updates from the National Security Administration on international and domestic threats. She has a security clearance that's recognized by the government. She will be, if she wins Commander-in-Chief, access to all explicit security documents. She's running for the presidency of the United States of America. What did she lose? Or did she gain the world? Even though we know she's guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a shame that the common man suffers at the hands of a man or woman who has the ultimate or penultimate amount of access, influence, and power. Law and justice do not apply to Hillary Rodham Clinton, but they most certainly will apply to you and me, especially if we choose to use trade secrets that we're not supposed to have. Amazing. One guy tries to impress his boss. The other one's still running to become the boss. We'll be right back with more of the best in Urban Conservative Talk. Lonnie Poindexter joins us momentarily.
Not email any classified material to anyone. There is no classified material.
110 emails and 52 email chains have been determined by the only agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related.
Several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton.
I thought using one device would be simpler.
She also used numerous mobile devices to send and to read email.
There were no security breaches.
It is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
It was my practice to communicate with State Department and other government officials on their .gov accounts.
Hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
No doubt that we've done exactly what we should have done.
They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
People will be able to judge for themselves.
We cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences.
Americans will find that interesting, and I look forward to having a discussion about that.
Now, if you realize we only have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. Learn how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
From coast to coast, there is one bank focused on building a better future. One bank with programs you can trust to help boost your economic future. One United Bank, with rates better than the national average, no hidden fees, and even cashback debit cards. You'll feel the boost in your budget. One United Bank, the premier bank for building communities in Boston, Miami, and Los Angeles. Visit us at oneunited.com or call 877-1UNITED today. Member FDIC.
Welcome to Lion Chasers, where faith and public policy intersect. And now, your Lion Chaser with a good fight of faith. Next time, Urban Family Talk.
I'm not saying that there's no instances where there's no racial injustice somewhere. This is America, and people are human in the similar world. It is a president of first. It's the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation anymore. But you know, we'll pray for everyone.
Good day, sir. Hold on. We're playing your lip.
Folks in this city, there has not been arrested Republican or council or commission in over 50 years.
And the co-captain's chair with me today, Reverend Ralph Chittings.
What's happened is the social justice movement has now been hijacked by a godless movement.
Don't be bamboozled. Ladies and gentlemen, Frederick Douglass was a gun-toting conservative. It's not a black or a white issue. It's a God versus anti-God issue. And I know those would say, well, it's all rigged. It's all a game, Lonnie. Because I get that a lot. And they're of the crew that has their bags packed at the train station waiting for Jesus to come back. He'll be here in a minute. Another train went by. Another train. No, it wasn't Jesus. But he's coming. Meanwhile, Rome is burning. The host of the Black Man Thinking radio show. Welcome to the show, Stanley Levy.
Good morning, Ronnie. How are you?
The core issues to build elephants out on the home. We got to do away with the entitlement programs and the things that hamstring us.
And that's where the conservative viewpoints really resonate for my generation.
I want to welcome to the show the host of the Exceptional Conservative Show, and that's my brother Kenneth McClinton. Welcome, brother.
Ronnie, it's an honor and privilege always to be with your ever-expanding audience.
Let your listeners be Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. If Lion Chasers sounds right for your station or network, contact Will Addison by email W. Addison at AFA.net. Encourage your listeners to be lion chasers with Lonnie Poindexter and Urban Family Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome to you the ultimate lion chaser extraordinaire, Lonnie Poindexter from Urban Family Talk. Good evening, sir. It's a great pleasure and honor to have you with us tonight.
Hello, my fellow warrior in the good fight, Kenneth McClinton.
Thank you so much, sir. It is a great pleasure to have you here. Listen, first, the great news. You have been expanding beyond expansion, your growth and ministry. Can you tell everyone about Urban Family Talk and about the Lion Chaser radio show?
Well, thank you so much, brother. It's an honor and a privilege to be on your show and to share with your listeners the show that God has blessed me with. Lion Chasers is the name of a radio show that I just celebrated. My 1-year anniversary with Lion Chasers was yesterday, Ken. And so
congratulations
about the launch of the show. And so we broadcast on urbanfamilytalk.com. We're also on 12 radio towers across the country. If you want to learn about where those are located, where you can catch us on your radio dial, go to urbanfamilytalk.com, click where it says About, and scroll down, and you can find the different locations throughout the country. We're pleased to add, in recent months, in the last 2 months, we added Memphis, Tennessee, and just prior to that, we added New York State, Long Island, to be specific. We have 3 radio stations there that carry the show as well. Very excited about what God is doing, and we're looking to pick up Baton Rouge, Jacksonville, Florida, and there's one of the locations just escaped me. So we are growing.
You're growing by leaps and bounds, and congratulations to you, sir. It's a great pleasure to see that happening. A lot of stuff happening in the world today, which has been pretty much covered over by, you know, the important things like Donald Trump not holding the Purple Heart right, Donald Trump not kissing a baby when it's crying, Donald Trump making comments about a Muslim Brotherhood agent. You know, those are bigger and more important than what President Barack Obama did today in commuting the sentences of 214 criminals from around the country. Just want to get your thoughts in terms of that decision by the president.
Well, you know, I think what's happening is many people are focusing on the minor and not majoring on the major as it relates to key events across the country. You and I both know it's a little bit of misdirection. I'm probably more concerned about the $400 million for the prisoner exchange that he gave to Iran than some of the other things that folks are talking about relative to Donald Trump. Let me mention, though, concerning the elections, you know, because folks are all over the place if they happen to be on the right side of the aisle about what they're going to do come election day. Let me remind your listeners that potentially 4 Supreme Court justice seats will be up and available for grabs, and what I mean by grabs, to appointments from whoever sits in the Oval Office after November this year.
Yeah. 4 to 5. We're looking at 4 to 5 choices in the next 4 years of the presidency. Virtually a choice a year. And we're worried about Donald Trump kissing a baby or telling the mother to leave the room with the crying baby. You know, this whole concept of temperament. What is the exact temperament you need to be president of the United States, sir?
You know, I got beat up quite a bit today based on comments or a post that I made concerning that very thing. And I remember I had one young man from the West Coast who didn't like the position I took concerning the elections. I think he's leaning more toward Miss Hillary Clinton. And we wanted to talk about Donald Trump's temperament. I said, well, young man, you know, when you've been around as long as I have, you come to understand I would rather deal with someone who I personally can't stand, but is more apt to do the right thing than someone that's personable and agreeable to me and accommodating to me, but would just as soon stick a shank in me and smile while they're doing it. And
most certainly. Now, in terms of also, just to digress back to, this is not the first time that he's commuted sentences, and in fact, the over 500 shortenings of sentences is actually a record, greater than any president ever in the history. It's a purpose that he sees justice the way other people don't, by offering clemency? Or is it simply this is again a Democrat thing looking for more voters?
I think it's the latter. I think it's a Democrat thing looking for more voters. He's concerned about legacy, and this is him shoring up his appeal, or more importantly, the Democrats' appeal to the passionately misinformed. The reality is he's looking to set the stage for not only his departing legacy, but also to make sure that he's replaced by Obama 2.0, one in Miss Hillary Clinton. And I told folks that if you think that Mr. Obama was a handful to deal with in office, with a Senate and House that has not much backbone on the right side of the aisle, if we get Miss Clinton in there, it'll be more of the same. It'll be much worse, in my humble opinion.
Exactly. We're talking with none other than the great warrior of news, especially from the Christian realm, Lonnie Poindexter, our Urban Family Talk. Recently, the Supreme Court made a decision in the absence of Justice Scalia, Antonin Scalia, of course, having passed away earlier. And Justice Samuel Alito made the reference to the decision that was made, that this was an ominous sign that the Supreme Court was turning its back on religious freedom. And the basic decision was that if you have a business, you can't tell people that you won't do something for them because of what you believe. Your religious beliefs are intolerable when it comes to due process of commerce. And then the decisions recently regarding same-sex marriage and abortion and contraception, all turning to the left side of the aisle, per se. And Alito said, if this is a sign of how religious liberty claims will be treated in the years ahead, those who value religious freedom have cause for great concern. Is Alito being a little hyperbolic here? Is it just going over the top to make a point for not having Scalia on the court?
No, I think what Justice Alito was doing, he's being a watchman on the wall to alert the faith-based community, which is the preponderance of those of us who call ourselves America in this wonderful nation. He's letting us know what's coming down the pike, and I commend him for it. You and I both know, being in our nation's capital, we can see it up close and personal. The Supreme Court, and just to back up a little bit, talking about the election, who sits in the Oval Office is important. Who sits in those chairs, those 9 chairs for those Supreme Court justices, is doubly important, because they not only affect you, ladies and gentlemen, what happens over 4 years in an election cycle, whatever president you have, as Dr. Ben Carson said, it can affect you 40 to 50 years.
Yeah.
And so if things don't go the way that we want them to as people of faith, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren will suffer.
Now, the Supreme Court came out this afternoon while everybody was talking about Donald Trump kissing baby or not kissing the baby, or whether he needed an intervention. The Supreme Court came out and said little boys can't go into little girls' rooms. You can't do that. And they blocked what the Virginia public school system had put in place for opening day which is about 2 weeks away from now, that they can't go forward with allowing a transgendered male to use the boys' bathroom. This is all confusing for me. You know I'm a very simple man. Whatever happened to the days of old where we didn't need a court to tell us what bathroom to use?
Brother, you think you're confused. I feel like that famous bit by Abbott and Costello, who's on first, you know, with what's taking place today.
But your thoughts, will your listeners appreciate the Supreme Court temporarily blocking this order for further consideration in the lower courts?
I think our listeners will, again, as I stated prior, the importance of who sits on the bench in the Supreme Court will affect us for years and years to come. I thank God that there is some common sense still remaining. I'm actually just as concerned what happens in the lower courts in the different states, the Court of Appeals and so forth, because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the president that was duly elected twice, because between 25 and 30 million evangelicals went fishing on election day in 2012 because they didn't like a Mormon candidate. That individual has set things in place that will affect us years from now with these appointments that he makes to the bench, that he makes in the military. I mean, what about the fact that we've got an avowed pedophile out of San Francisco that's going to have a ship named after him?
Yes! It's simply amazing. Listen, we're going to run out of time, but I want to ask you this particular question because you and I both know that we got a lot of listeners who have sent their kids off to college, who have gone to college themselves, and they have an amazing amount of student loan debt. You have Hillary Rodham Clinton saying that children will be able to go to school if their parents earn less than $125,000 a year. But recently, warning flags have been put up by Moody's and others that there is just too much student loan debt out there. Should our kids go to the best schools possible and indulge themselves with a dramatic amount of student loan debt? And if they don't pay it, we pay for it? Or should we be training our children to choose the best school for their economic well-being long term?
Well, you know the answer to that. I think the latter. There was a time when we could bank on investing in our children's future through education by the encumbering debt and along with the parents, whether we go to the best schools, they could give them the best shot at life. You and I will know that today. Here, right here in our nation's capital, you have young people graduating from prestigious colleges right here in the Beltway who are working at Starbucks as baristas because there's no jobs out there. When you have a job growth in America, and the president's going to put out, I think, fourth worst president in history with like 1.2% economic growth in the nation. It tells you that where do the people go? So why should you encumber anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 worth of debt to go to school, so that you graduate from school and you're still living in the basement at your parents' house and you're working at Starbucks?
It doesn't make sense. Especially, I don't know, unfortunately in our community, after the 1930s, children were pushed to study things like communications and social work. And I don't remember them being big ticket paydays, being a social worker. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
Well, it's changed. It used to be. I remember my dad telling me this when I was a kid, son, you know, you go out and get a good government job, you won't get rich, but it's great benefits. But today, and I forgot where I saw this study, I think Wall Street Journal might have covered this a couple of years ago, that a recent study that was done that shows that the top jobs in the country that pay the most are working for the federal government. So, so maybe you and I did this all wrong. We should have went down there and filled out that application at the post office.
Should have filled out the application. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Lonnie Poindexter, Urban Family Talk. Tell them how they can listen tomorrow morning for your program.
they can go to urbanfamilytalk.com. Again, that's urbanfamilytalk.com. And if they scroll down to the bottom of the website page, look for my show, Lion Chasers with Lonnie Poindexter. Click on that. We air Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's 10 a.m. Central and 8 a.m. On the left coast in California on the west coast, and correspondingly those same times in the p.m. in the respective areas.
Praise God. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
You're very welcome, brother. I appreciate you allowing me to be on your wonderful show. God bless you all out there.
God bless, man. That is Lonnie Poindexter. I'm telling you, he is the bomb to the diggity. And you can easily go to Urban Family Talk, find it on your...
So what do you think about ebooks? Maybe you've never read an ebook before, but you're considering giving it a try. Or maybe you've been reluctant to try ebooks because you don't want to buy another expensive electronic device. Or maybe you already enjoy ebooks, but you haven't been able to find titles from your favorite Christian authors. Whatever your situation, ChristianBook.com has the solution. Your trusted source for print books for over 30 years now offers ebooks. Our always free CBD reader allows you to read on the devices you already own without spending money on a new device. Thousands of Christian ebooks at ChristianBook.com means you can shop with confidence and choose from the titles you want. Plus, we are adding new titles all the time. Browse our huge selection of low-priced Christian ebooks the same way you would printed books, only now you can go from shopping to reading in seconds. Simply select the ebook you wish to purchase, confirm your account information, and start reading. Free samples of every ebook are available, so you can preview the book first, before you buy it. Plus, there's no lengthy app downloads and updates. Accessing the CBD Reader is as easy as going to cbdreader.christianbook.com and bookmarking the page. The CBD Reader holds your ebooks and bookmarks for you, no matter what device you're on. So, you can take your entire ebook library wherever you go and pick up right where you left off. Our customizable options make it possible to read your ebooks in different font sizes and styles. Want a large print version? You've got it in seconds with a simple click of the mouse. Already own a dedicated e-reader? Download your ebooks to your computer from your ChristianBook.com account and transfer them to your device. Try ebooks at ChristianBook.com and start reading your favorite books in seconds. Easy, economical, everywhere you want to read. Welcome to ChristianBook.com ebooks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now that we run out of time in this first half, and time goes too quickly on our program, the Exceptional Conservative Show, live from Washington, D.C. I want to let you all know that coming up in the next hour, none other than the Kraken himself, everybody's waiting for that at 10:05 p.m., Ralph J. Chittum Sr. will be joining us. And also Shannon takes center stage later on in the hour, 10:40, I believe. I'm telling you right now, Lonnie Poindexter is one of the best shows that you are definitely missing out on. And I'm going to encourage you to make certain that you start somehow in your browser or whatever. You make certain that you start and you listen to it tomorrow morning. Urban Family Talk with Lonnie Poindexter. He is a tremendous talk artist and one that is deserving of your listenership. So when you have the opportunity, make certain that you go to Urban Family Talk. And in fact, we're going to put that in the chat roll tonight. And Dave, you are absolutely right. And I also believe Mamba said the same thing. You're absolutely right. Great call from Lonnie. Make sure that you all star his site. Ladies and gentlemen, also want to say thank you to Sackhead Radio, which is SHR Media, for carrying us live. High Plains Pundit Media for carrying us live. That's my good friend, Dan the Man Butcher. And as well, Red Nation Rising comes up at 2 a.m. So if you get a chance to listen to it, wonderful. We'll be right back with more of the best of Urban Conservative Talk right after these messages.
You're gorgeous. This is awesome.
Amazing. I love the color.
What if I told you perfectly polished nails were just a spray away? Hi, I'm Taylor Baldwin, and you're going to fall in love with this. It's Spray Perfect, the spray-on nail polish that gives you perfect polished salon-looking nails without stressing the details. Look, Spray Perfect gives you all-over gorgeous color in seconds for the world's fastest manicure. And don't stress the mess. The extra polish washes right off your skin with water.
The color is unbelievable. It's so solid. It came right off my fingers. I can't wait to tell my friends about it. I love it.
The secret is Spray Perfect Smart Polish formula that only sticks to your nails, but easily washes off your skin with water. Perfect. And unlike bottle polish that tips, drips, and takes forever to put on, with Spray Perfect, you get smooth, easy, complete coverage in seconds.
This is really, really brilliant. I love that it stays on my nails and that it is off my skin. And the color is fantastic.
Whether you're left-handed or right-handed, it's so simple to spray on. For beautiful chip and crack resistant polish you'll love to show off. And watch this. Spray Perfect is great for toenails too, because it's so easy to do. Ladies, your perfectly polished nails are just a spray away with Spray Perfect. Call or go online to get Spray Perfect in all of these fabulous colors.
Ladies and gentlemen, wake up tomorrow morning with Kona Coffee.
We have Kona Coffee. We have 100% Kona Coffee.
You know, Kona Coffee is a wonderful place. In Hillcrest, there are many places that offer coffee. But Kona has some of the best quality coffee that I have consistently been able to receive.
I actually used to work at Starbucks, and I don't like it. I love Kona compared to Starbucks, just because the Starbucks espresso is always a little burnt, and the Kona is really smooth.
It's not over roasted. We roast it daily, so we can keep it so fresh. It's delicious.
It's very creamy. I'm having a chai latte.
Our Kona blend is amazing. It's a 35% Kona.
This is the flavor one. They use like oils to flavor it, so you don't get like all that sugar if you're especially like if you're looking to be more healthy.
It's amazing. I come every morning that I have to work and get their acai bowl, and it's phenomenal.
An acai bowl is a Brazilian berry. It's really healthy meal. Could be a breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Refreshing, and it comes with fresh bananas and strawberries and granola and coconut, and they're amazing.
It's better because they do know you. So if you walk in and you can have a conversation, unlike Starbucks, they're kind of whatever.
They're always so friendly. They're always really nice. Even when you see them around the area, they always stop and say hi to you.
They treat you like neighbors, which is really nice.
4 out of 5 doctors prefer Kona Coffee.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
From coast to coast, there is one bank focused on building a better future. One bank with programs you can trust to help boost your economic picture. One United Bank, with rates better than the national average, no hidden fees, and even cashback debit cards. You'll feel the boost in your budget. One United Bank, the premier bank for urban communities in Boston, Miami, and Los Angeles. Visit us at oneunited.com or call 877-1UNITED today. Member FDIC.
Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to the exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital, where we are certainly not ashamed of the good news of conservatism. For it is the power of liberation, first to the Republican and then the Socialist. This is a very big night. We get a chance to release the Kraken. And all things are on the table with the Kraken. None other than Ralph J. Chittum Sr. joins us as we proceed with tonight's show. You just hear the chat roll. We're going to get him. And 1 ringy dingy, 2 ringy dingy, 3 ringy dingy.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic.
All right. We are going to try that just a little bit later. He was just here a second ago, Ralph. All right. So we'll work on that. Can I play for you all something that you all may not remember, but I believe will add some fluidity to our conversation with Ralph? Michelle Bachmann, who I believe would have made an excellent presidential candidate and presidential leader for our country, certainly a very conservative woman, had the right things in her mind. When she ran for the presidency, amongst the ridicule from the left and the right, she was asked about Ronald Reagan and the Iran-Contra affair. We like to think media.
I need to add something on this issue of negotiating for hostages. This is a very serious issue. For any candidate to say that they would release the prisoners at Guantanamo in exchange for a hostage would be absolutely contrary to the historical nature of the United States and what we do in our policy. That's naive. We cannot do that. The United States has done well because we have an absolute policy. We don't negotiate.
Herman Cain, I've got to give you 30 seconds because she was referring to basically saying you were naive, or if that's what you were suggesting.
No, I said that I believe in the philosophy of we don't negotiate with terrorists. I think I didn't say I would never agree to letting hostages in Guantanamo Bay go. No, that wasn't the intent at all. But let me go back to this, if I could, very quickly in the time that I have left. The question they asked about foreign aid. My approach is an extension of the Reagan approach: peace through strength, and which is peace through strength and clarity. If we clarify who our friends are, clarify who our enemies are, and stop giving money to our enemies, then we ought to continue to give money to our friends like Israel.
You have 30 seconds, Congressman Paul,
yes.
I gotta go.
Matter of fact, I don't want to make a statement. I want to ask a question. Are you all willing to condemn Ronald Reagan for exchanging weapons for hostages out of Iran? We all know that was done. That, you know, well, that's not, Iran was a sovereign country. It was not a terrorist organization, number one. Well, they were good friends. They're not good friends, but they're a sovereign country, just like the Palestinian Authority is not good friends. He negotiated for hostages. There's a role, we negotiate with hostages with the Soviet Union. We've negotiated with hostages, depending on the scale, but there's a difference between releasing terrorists from Guantanamo Bay in response to a terrorist demand. They're all suspect. They're not terrorists. You haven't negotiated anything. Then negotiating with other countries where we may have an interest, and that is certainly a proper role for the United States.
We got to take a quick break. I do want to give Speaker Gingrich 30 seconds, and then...
Just very straightforward. Plus, I did a film on Ronald Reagan. It was a very painful moment in the film when he looks in the camera and says, "I didn't think we did this. I'm against doing it. I went back and looked. The truth is we did. It was an enormous mistake." And he thought the Iranian deal was a terrible mistake.
We're going to take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have made another mistake. And that was a few months ago, $400 million is transferred in cash to those who happen to be holding American prisoners. Many people were ready to impeach Ronald Reagan for Iran-Contra. Good evening. Ralph Chittums is with us this evening, and we're going to talk a little bit further about this particular matter. And I want to play this quick clip here and hope that everyone can hear it. But it's the biggest news story, I think, today. The Barack Obama administration paid $400 million in ransom money to Iran. Let's play this as Fox News.
That's the big story of the day. The U.S. giving $400 million to Iran right before American hostages were released. All rise. Judge Andrew Napolitano is here. Is that ransom or what?
It's clearly ransom. It's clearly ransom, and it marks a radical 180-degree change
in the policy of the federal government to pay ransom, because the theory of not paying ransom is you don't encourage the crazies, the terrorists, even foreign governments like Iran, to sponsor or do this.
Now, the administration says that this $400 million, all cash, Swiss francs and euros, was part of the settlement of a deal, of a debt, that goes back to 1979.
Right.
It is purely coincidental that the cash was exchanged as the guys...
You know, then there are the worst managers of PR in the modern era if they think that people won't see that as more than just a coincidence. Here's the administration's argument. There's two buildings not far from here on Fifth Avenue that were owned by Iran that were seized by the government in 1979, worth collectively about $400 million. And the agreement, the controversial agreement, the one that the president tricked the Congress into requiring 2/3 in order to oppose, that he entered into with Iran over the nuclear deal, said we're going to return this with you plus interest on the building. The two buildings are worth $400 million. The interest came to $1.7 billion. There was no numerical way to say that the interest from 1979 to 2016 was 4 times the value of the buildings. The government says that part of this interest was cash. Why would you pay it in cash?
Well, they couldn't pay it in American dollars because that would have been illegal. So
Right.
it was paid in Swiss francs and euros.
Right.
There we are. Ralph J. Chittum, Sr., D.C. GOP Vice Chairman. Your president. Your president. Your president chose to use Swiss francs and euros rather than American currency because it would have been illegal to ransom prisoners from Iran, American prisoners for Iran. Your commentary on this very serious matter.
This is just another example of the Obama administration's inept foreign policy. Now, understand, what they were doing in Benghazi was running guns.
Yeah.
That's what got our and those other Marines killed. And now you have the administration doubling down on stupid foreign policy by paying a ransom to free Americans that are held. Now, follow the logic. So, not that I would ever do this, but I get lonely one night and I go out and I pick up a prostitute.
Yeah.
But I don't pick her for 24 hours. So my argument is simply because I didn't pay her at the time services were rendered, I really didn't hire a hooker.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Sounds reasonable. It sounds like something a Democrat would say.
Asinine. I want to talk about Donald Trump not having any foreign policy experience. I bet Donald Trump wouldn't have cut a deal like that.
Not at all. Not at all. $400 million, which virtually means that the 4 people that were released from Iran custody to the U.S. are worth $100 million per. Ralph, are you worth $100 million if you travel outside of the country?
Obama wouldn't give Iran a bubble gum for me.
But does that set...
But for better or for worse, people who are involved in our diplomatic corps and foreign service and everything else, when they sign the dotted line, they understand that the policy of the United States government is we will not negotiate with terrorists, we will not pay ransom to get American citizens back. That's part of the contract that you enter into when you go into the foreign service.
Yes.
And so what Obama has just done again is he has further weakened the United States on the international stage because now he's opened the door to snatching American citizens and holding them for ransom because the soft Americans have now proven that they will pay.
Now, you won't be safe if you travel to Paris. Because if someone snatches you in Paris, they will get you across the Mediterranean Sea in a heartbeat. It'll be very difficult to recover you unless the federal government gives up some cash. we virtually have given permission for terrorists to be terrorists.
We incentivized it.
Yes.
That's what we've done. What we've done is we've incentivized ISIS to stop killing people and to now take them hostage and hold them for ransom.
So are now Americans collateral damage in this war to make certain that everyone knows that Islam is a religion of peace?
When weren't we collateral damage?
We're treasury.
Yeah. Right. What folks need to understand is what Obama has done right now is he has turned every United States passport into a piggy bank. Now, that's not going to stop me from traveling, because if I'm going to travel the world, I'm going to go, and I'm going to trust that my God is bigger than any terrorist.
Exactly.
But I also, when I travel, I also understand that there is a very good possibility that, hey, things happen.
Exactly.
But I, for one, refuse to live in fear.
Now, one of the great lines from the Marine anthem is from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. The shores of Tripoli being there that Thomas Jefferson said, "We will not pay for hostages, but we will blow your country off the map." We have virtually ceded our superpower status as a military power under this particular president. No one fears us, and we're now willing to pay you for us not to fight.
Well, absolutely. We have gone from the big dog to the little chihuahua.
Woo.
And we've done it in a span of 8 years.
Wow.
We're nothing more than a little yapper on the front porch that everyone knows is all bark and no bite.
So I need to ask you this, DC GOP Vice Chairman. Why are so many people worried about whether Donald Trump kissed a baby or the baby cried or if somehow the Purple Heart wasn't held the right way? Why are we so concerned with that instead of saying that Hillary Rodham Clinton aided and abetted in the ransom demands of Iran and made certain that they were met before she left as Secretary of State?
Because what's being pulled on America is a magic trick. It's called misdirection. Americans are really, really stupid because we have this affinity for bright, shiny objects. And so they shine a bright, shiny object into the eyes of most Americans, and we go, oh, look. And then, with the other hand, they're either, taking away our rights, ripping off our money, or doing something else unconstitutional.
Wow. Now, remember, and you and I can remember, because we were probably in preschool at the time that this happened, but when Iran-Contra took place, every Democrat was screaming to impeach Ronald Wilson Reagan. Where are the cries of Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell right now? Have you heard any cries from them about impeachment?
No. And the reason why you're not is it goes back to this whole argument regarding establishment politicians. Only one politician running for office right now scares the bejesus out of both Democrats and Republicans, and that candidate is Donald Trump.
Yep.
For most establishment politicians, regardless of party affiliation, they would rather have a safe bet in a Hillary Clinton than to back their own party's nominee and put in a Donald Trump.
Very scary today. Meg Whitman came out in support of Hillary Rodham Clinton, and yesterday a congressman announced that he was going to support a Republican congressman announced his support for Hillary Rodham Clinton. Are they sincere that they're leaving behind Republican ideals, or are they merely trying to secure their place of power on K Street?
Honestly, I have to say that's not our powers.
Yeah.
Look, Hillary Rodham Clinton, now you know, you and I don't get into conversations of race very often. Because, you know, in most cases, race is a secondary or a tertiary issue.
Yep.
But when I look at Hillary Clinton, I see a woman who is singularly the most dangerous person for Black lives in America since Nathan Bedford Forrest. I say that based upon the fact that Hillary Clinton is completely and totally in bed with the genocidal Planned Parenthood movement, which has actively killed 60 million total babies in the United States, 20 million or one-third of those being black, even though black people amount to 12.3 to 12.6% of the total population. Now, that first baby was legally aborted in 73, which meant that baby could have become a parent 21 years later or sooner in 1994. If that baby had been born in 73, that baby could have started becoming a grandparent in 2015 or sooner, you know, if you start having babies at 16.
Yeah.
So therefore, from the 20 million babies that Planned Parenthood has murdered, there are 50 million less black people in the United States of America. If you want to know where black voting power went, it's on the floors of the abortion clinics. Do you want to know where black economic development went and where economic development in American inner cities went? It's in Herbert Gosnell's ledgers. So if people want to talk to me about Hillary Clinton, they need to understand that she is singularly the most dangerous person for a black person in America living right now.
The Kraken.
The numbers are wrong.
The Kraken has been released, ladies and gentlemen. Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is on the air live on the Exceptional Conservative Show. I want to ask you, sir, your commentary, your thoughts, picking up from where Lonnie Poindexter was earlier this evening, your thoughts on the Supreme Court saying, whoa, to little boys using little girls' rooms.
Well, understand that the Supreme Court, what Stephen Breyer did, and I'm going to call him out by name, Stephen Breyer pledges to give himself political cover.
Yep.
The lesbian wing of the Supreme Court said that the girls should go into boys' rooms and boys should go into girls' rooms. And Breyer said, well, I'm just going to, as a courtesy, you know, let the status quo maintain until we can get a full court. So all Stephen Breyer did was punt. Because trust me, when we get a full Supreme Court, Breyer is going to side with the lesbian wing in favor of transgenders.
Yeah. Yeah. Most certainly. Again, we go back to the thing that matters most in this election. It's the Supreme Court. It's all about the Supreme Court. And we're looking at 4 or 5 decisions.
Oh, yeah, it's all about the Supreme Court. We have one vacancy now through the Justice Antonin Scalia, and we have 3 other justices that are either in their late 70s or early 80s. So that means the next president over the next 4 to 8 years is probably going to nominate at least 4, if not more, justices to the Supreme Court. So when we vote for president this November, we need to understand we are not voting to impact this country for the next 4 years. We are actually voting to impact this country for the next 2 generations. That's 40 years.
Wow.
And the question is, do you want Hillary Clinton to appoint like-minded justices who agree that babies can be aborted up until the day that they are delivered? Is that the kind of person you want on your Supreme Court? Is that the kind of person you want in your White House? Well, if it is, God bless you, because he's the only person who's going to bless you, because Lord knows I don't.
Amen. Listen, can a man serve 2 masters? I know what Jesus said, but what say you, sir? Council member Vincent Orange has decided that he can be both council member and chairman and director of the DC Chamber of Commerce. And please tell me, what's the difference between the two?
Well, I don't even need to get into that. The bottom line is Cincinnati is morally bankrupt. Serious. It is not, how in the world can you think it is appropriate to sit on the Chamber of Commerce and then chair the committee which makes decisions that directly affect the Chamber of Commerce? Only a Democrat can do that.
Are you serious? Do you really believe he's morally corrupt? I mean, he's just trying to get a better job. Don't we want everyone to get better jobs?
Well, yeah, then fine, get a job and get out of public service and go get a real job.
There you go. Well
These
said.
These guys go in and out of elected office and then lobbying and the commerce. It's a revolving door.
Yeah, it is.
That's the corruption of our system. You leave the Congress, you get a job on K Street as a lobbyist. You trade on all the relationships you made while you were in the Congress, and now you're getting paid $1 million to have the same conversation that you were having 2 weeks ago when you were only getting paid $190,000.
Well, you know, and that goes to the question of lobbying. Wouldn't he be a lobbyist sitting on the city council?
Arguably, yes.
Yeah.
Arguably, yes.
Is that ethical? Is that truly ethical to be a lobbyist sitting on the city council?
If you're a Democrat, yes, obviously. If a Republican were on the council and tried to pull a stunt like that, these people would be walking with pitchforks and torches.
You darn skippy about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's fine. It's no problem. It's not an ethical violation. Oh, it's all good.
Wow. Truly the ethics of DC politics. I want to ask you a finality because Shannon Wright will be coming on and she'll be talking about this in terms of the urban hub effect of terrorism. But were you at all disappointed today to know that a DC transit police officer had been charged with aiding ISIS?
I wasn't surprised and I wasn't disappointed. It just validated my position why I haven't ridden Metro in 2 years. The incompetence of the people running this city is astounding. So now not only do we have to worry about switches catching on fire, trains jumping tracks, and motormen in the cars not knowing the difference between red and green. Now we have to worry about the fact that they haven't vetted their security forces, and now we've been infiltrated by ISIS.
Exactly. Which means that they've studied every single inch, every mile of the 171-mile metro system.
They didn't have to study. If anyone was in D.C. on 9/11 and saw what happened to the street traffic and to the traffic in the metro stations, anybody with a brain knows exactly where and how to hit D.C. to kill the most people, because our incompetence at moving people out of the District of Columbia was put on full blast for anyone who was paying attention.
Wow. Listen, how can people get in contact with you